YHWH who only does wondrous things. Blessed be Yahweh above Israel, who only does wondrous things. Blessed be his honorable name forever and ever. And let the old land be filled with his honor forever and ever. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Truly my soul waits upon Yahweh.
This is Dawid YisraYah'ale sitting here for this wonderful occasion, the Shabbat evening, for SHAWMAH YisraYah'ale, simply to listen and always observe so that we may have a complete understanding of Torah. I want this to be a call-in tonight, if you want to call me and ask questions. But I certainly want to talk about the 13th month. I see how the nation and those that declare they are of YisraYah'ale, how we all have been bewitched with this bewitching spirit concerning the Mo'ad, the Mo'adim of Almighty Yah. And how that this has been twisted from this thesis of this supposedly doctrine of a 13th month, and you must do it in according to the barley loaves, or the green ears of the barley. That's a lie. The Torah doesn't say that to us, nation. We're going to discuss quite a few things tonight. I want to tell you all the site that I am on this computer here. It is called Chabad.org. CHABAD, Chabad.org. And this is a site that I have been familiar with for quite a period of time. You can call any rabbi, any of the leaders of their synagogue or anything, the universities. When it comes to specifics and questions that you're trying to find the answer, they will send you to the site, Chabad. And it is a site that is organized by the orthodoxy of the Jewish Hasidic, the Lubavitchis. We're going to discuss those things tonight because this incorporation of the 13th month, even they know that it is a lie. There is nowhere in Torah, nowhere. And that's why we're going to prove all things. Show to Timothy and hold fast to that which is tough. I have no compunction with anyone correcting me and showing me the ills of how that this truth is interpreted, as long as you do it in Torah. You can correct me, but you're not going to correct me by opinion or some kind of theses that a person has written, and you hold fast to that. There are many of you all that you have no scholarship of labor in Torah. You read theses and the scholarship of others that do not correlate with Torah. So everything that I say, you will find it in the book. So there is nowhere in Torah where the book tells us that there must be a sighting of the barley in its ear. Nowhere. It's not found in Torah. There is no indication that there is a 13th month. And we're going to deal with this. And this is how that those are the leaders of the Hebrew Israelite movements. Mr. Cherry, when he began to orchestrate this concept in Tennessee in the 1800s, Chattanooga, Tennessee, that's where this movement began. It did not begin in Philadelphia, New York, but it began there. And he and Abba Bibbings, they began to discuss the matters, and they came together with a consensus for a time. And then Mr. Bibbin realized that there was a tremendous population of people of my hue. And so he went to Philadelphia, and there was a separation between Cherry and Mr. Bibbins. And so Mr. Bibbins began with the institution, and the person that is in command of that is one that is known by Jero Yochanan there in Philadelphia. But we're going to debunk the lies of the Jews and debunk the lies of the Hebrew Israelites. Let me begin here in Shemoth. There is nothing in Torah but what Yah commands us what to watch for. Shemoth, Exodus 12:2, he tells YisraYah'ale, he says, this Chodesh. How do you determine the month? Well, the word Chodesh simply implies that when the slither of the moon, or the rebirth of the moon, that is what it requires to Chodesh. It is the crescent of the moon. And that is what we watch for. We don't watch for a dark night. We watch for the crescent. And Exodus 12:2, he says, this month, he's referring to the crescent. This month shall be to you the beginning. It shall be the Rosh. It shall be the head of all months. It shall be the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. That is the first month. There is no 13th month. There is no order of that. And so many of you all are following the same pursuit of what the Hasidic Jews, and you have incorporated this mythology that has nothing to do with the equinox. Yah gave us the certainty of the sign of the moon. And these other celestial bodies, they are there to support that which acknowledge the season and the time of Almighty Yah. He did not set the stars in the heavens for you to know their names. He knows them all by name. And so this is the sign of the beginning of the Moedim. It's done in a way that you keep it every year in the spring. That is false. It is a deception and it is a lie, nation. Yah never says that. I'm here tonight for someone to correct me and point it out. Now, don't call me reading some kind of subthesis of someone that you have generated a concept. No, I want you to show me in the book where the 13th month began and how all of this was invented. I want to read from Chabad. Let me read this quickly. The number one component here is they declaring a leap year in part of the first mitzvah. I do not find the term leap year in Torah, leap month, nothing that is stated in that reference in Torah. So you can't tell me that there is a 13th month. Certainly there are calendars with 13 months, but Yah gave us the order of his time. Let me find this quickly. Show us what is sealed in the heavens above. There are not 13 months, but there are 12 months. Listen to this nation. If you have the book of Jubilees, I want you to let me get this for us. But let me continue in this aspect as far as the first month. We just read that from Exodus. I want to read from Leviticus. YHWH, Leviticus 23:5. In the 14th day of the first month, that is the only implication when the year of Yah began, when the seasons of Yah began. He talks about the first month. At evening is Yah's Pesach. It is a Passover of Almighty Yah. There is no indication that there, because the month is Aviv or Abib, the month Aviv, what it implies this. This is what it implies. The beginning of the green, of the barley and wheat. So in that case, let me look at this. The fourth month is called Tammuz. Tammuz. Does that imply in the fourth month we must lift up this serpent identity that was placed before the people in the garden, or in that place when they began to sin against Yom Bar? Does it imply that? It doesn't imply that. And so there are 12 months. And a V, because it means the greening of the barley, that doesn't indicate as far as the first month of Yah, when it begins. It is Abib. But it is in accordance with the moon, the Chodesh, period. You can't add anything to that. You certainly cannot subtract from that, my friends. Again, here in Devarim, Deuteronomy, he tells us, Deuteronomy 16:1. He did not tell us to watch, but for one thing. He tells us to shema, to watch, to have a keen observation, that you observe, same word, that you keep guard, shema. You keep guard. That must be an observation. You must be watchful, and you must protect this. He tells us here, Devarim 16:1, he tells us to watch for. He did not tell you to watch for the greening of the barley or those things, because the month means that. He did not tell us that, nation. And these are those that are spewing some of the most violent lies of corruption to bring you under the bondage of a lie. And we know the origin of every lie is chashatan. You cannot complement truth, excuse me, with a lie. It doesn't work that way. Let me get a sip of ginger. It doesn't work that way, nation. And so you cannot complement the truth with a lie, or a lie can be overturned with truth, but there is nowhere he tells us not to watch for the barley or anything. He said, watch and observe the month of Abib, the keeping of the Passover, Tshuwah, Ara'abah, for the first month of Abib, YHWH brought you forth out of Mitzrayim by night. He tells us to watch. It is not going to the fields to see if the barley is green, or the wheat, That is not what he's implying. That our eyes may be on the observation of the heavens above. Look up, because our redemption draweth nigh. We don't even know where this thesis came from. I'm not one that is not studious in my desire to understand. And we must prove everything. And I will prove it by the scholarship of those that tell you how all this came about. You must understand the Jewish practice. It is a practice of tradition, basically. It is a Tom practice. The rabbis and those like Hillel, those that are the pioneers of what things they can do, how they can. It is one thing with the Jewish keeping what they call the Moedim. They are on the same day every year of the same week. Nothing at all changed. It is their tradition. It is not by the order and the commands of Yah. He told us, first of all, to watch for the observation of the month of Abib. Not some wheat, not some barley. You got those that are in tune and keep up with the months and the days and know exactly how many months there is. There is not any indication in this book whereby there is a 13th month. And we're going to prove all things according to the Torah. That's a fact, nation. Again, it says here in the writings of Jubilees. It says in Jubilees 49:1, remember Moshe, the commandment which Yahweh Zavah, he commanded you concerning the Passover, that you should celebrate it in its moed, in the season, the time, on the 14th day of the first month. That is the implication. And that is what resonates from Torah. It is the first month, nation. Has nothing to do with barley. There is no 13th month or a leap year. Well, Chanukah says you don't even believe what Chanukah says. And there are those that have created their own Chanukah calendars, and Chanukah would never defy Yah. They have created lies. They have instituted lies to defame the Torah of Yah. And we as an ignorant people, we follow pursuit of that because we don't know. And many of us don't even have time to spend in Torah, your work, your home, your family. All your time is tied up. That's the truth. That's just factual. I bless y'all every day for my living environment here, where I can labor and work, but yet he grants me time that I can labor in the Torah of Yah and to understand his chokmah, his wisdom, and the principles of Almighty Yah. Exodus 13:4. This day came you out of the month of Abib. You all have to excuse me. I sleep under a fan. It has been cool here somewhat at night. And this is what it has done to me. So I appreciate y'all that I can rest this Shabbat. Rezachim will be teaching, and he wanted to do this tonight. But I said to him, I will come with you teaching on tomorrow. Let's look at this quickly. Here on the site of Chabad, I want to read what it implies. You know, I don't believe in the violent thing called a God, but I want to read from their language. Chabad, C-H-B-A-D, Chabad. It says declaring the leap year is part of the first mitzvah. In Exodus 12, now we're going to go there just to show you the corruption. Exodus chapter 12, It says in Exodus 12, God commanded the observation of Passover in the spring. That is a blatant lie. That is not the truth. It is a total fabrication. It is a flat out lie. He does not command the Moed to be held in the spring. Let's find that quickly. And let's read what it says. The word spring is not in Torah when it comes to the sense of the Torah of the feast days or the keeping the observation of the feast days. I'm a student of each individual words. Exodus 12. We will find what it says here. Exodus 13, Exodus 12. Let's begin in verse 1. Now, I'm not going to read the entire chapter, but I want to show you how the bewitching of the mind, that people would just buy that. I don't buy it because I know it is a lie. That this is what it says. In Exodus 12, God commanded to observe Passover in the spring. The spring for who? Who is the spring for? There is nowhere an implication where the Passover, the Pesach, the Feast of Yah is commanded. I don't see it. I don't see it. Because of the month of Abib, and the greening of the ears of the wheat, of the barley, Yah tells us to watch for the first month and the first moon. Quote, the Hebrew leap year ensures, look at what it says now. You go to that website. I find it to be a very informative site when it comes to those that are part of that religious or that construct of their traditions. Ensures, it just says the Jewish calendar remain true to the solar cycle so that the holidays are celebrated at the right time. Show me the word solar cycle in Torah. Show me the implication of solar cycle. He tells us the first month through the 12th month. There is no indication of a 13th month, period. Of the solar now. That's what it says. Someone called me and show me where the word solar is in Torah. That is an indication of the order of Yah and how we keep the Moedim. He says, of this site says in the second articles, these are the 10 proven principles concerning the Feast of Yah. The second one is a month is added. Unlike the Gregorian or the Julian leap year, in which an extra day is added, the Jewish leap year has an entire extra month. Please, someone, please, show me where that is even an implication in Torah, that you add a month or a day. You add an hour. The time of Yah never changed. He made a day a day. He constituted a month by the appearing of the sun, of the moon. And the sun and all of those lights have their specific order, that everything stands in the parades of attention to that moment, that identity of the month of Yah can be identified. These are fallacies. These are tradition and lies made up by Jews, Hebrew Israelites, and we that are just flat out ignorant, we don't know. It is called now, where in the Torah it talks about this? Please, someone tell me. The third principle of the Lubavitches and Hasidics. Let me give you some information as to who the Hasidics and the Lubavitches. I recall when I would get off from work, especially at Hanukkah, you didn't have the internet aspect you have today. But there was PBS, public television station, It was somewhat in the Nubius, in the begatting. It was there, but it did not have the kinds of programs you find on the internet. And I recall doing Hanukkah, I would come home, and I would always watch it every year. I would watch the gathering of the people, and they were gathering in New York City, the metro of all of the Jewish construct or the center. Although YisraYah'ale is there, the monies come from the United States of America to sustain that. In Menachem Shira's son, he did not even take over that movement until 1951. He was an old man with a long white beard. And certainly the people would be segregated, the women in one place, the men. And they would show throughout that broadcast people in Paris and South Africa, in Australia. It would pan, you could see all of them. In California, the largest complex. In those cities whereby there was an array and a support of the Jewish community toward that festivity. And I will recall Menachem Shira's son as he was sits in this chair. The men would be singing in the Yiddish language. That's what it sounded like to me. They were saying. And as soon as Menachem Shira's son would stand up, they would get quiet. He will walk up to the podium and he look over the crowds and he will retreat back to his chair and they will sing until Menachem Shira's son will begin to speak. You must understand that he was the one that was identified as the Hamashiach. And that is what the Lubavitchis, that Hasidic movements, they had identified him as that. Let me give us a clear definitive from their own language, the Jewish language, the Lubavitchi. It is an Orthodox Jewish Hasidic dynasty that was founded in 1775 by Rabbi Shishna Zalman. That's when he founded it. 1775, the Rabbi. It was in 1951 by the leadership of Rabbi Menachem Mendel Shira's son accepted the leadership of the movement. He was the one that instituted the context and the fiber of their tradition and religious aspiration that was begun in 1775. And recently, in 2018, Marcin Wodzinski established that the Chabad movement accounted for 13% of the global Hasidic population. The total number of the Chabad household is estimated to be between 16,000 and 17,000 of those that operate within the framework of what they call the Hasidic. What does the word Hasidic imply? Well, Hasidic relates to or denoting Hasimism, a mystical. It is a form that is related to the mystical things of religion, of mysticism. It is a mystical Jewish movement founded in Poland in the 18th century and in reaction to the rigid academic of the rabbinical Judaism. It's all based upon Judaism. It's based upon principles of tradition. It's not based upon the infallibility of Torah, the righteousness. And that is factual. It is the truth. And it does not take a scholar to understand these things. And because it is based upon that YisraYah'ale, then these traditions omit the word of Yah, that he commands us to walk in that counsel. He gives us the first month. He does not give us the greening of the barley in order that we must observe that. He tells us to observe the first month. And because it's called Abib, that doesn't mean that there is an appointed time to recognize the green heads of the barley. That's false. It's a lie. It is not true. Even the Hasidics know that. Even they state that in their own doctrine and in their own constitution of their tradition. Let me move on here. It is called also one of the third principles of the Hasidic movement. It is called the enlarged year. Someone please find that in Torah anywhere, enlarged year. Do you search in the concordance and find that? Because you cannot find that. It is called the enlarged year. On the secular calendar, the date drifts by 1 day per year. So if January the 1st is on Sunday this year, it will be on Monday next year, and so on. In the event of a leap year, the extra day will cause it to be, quote, leap for Sunday to Tuesday. Hence the name leap year. This is, of course, does not apply to the additional month added in the Jewish calendar. Who commanded the Jews to add a month? And these are the same traditions that the Hebrew Israelites and everyone follow. They tried to make up this obscure thing that is because of the vernal equinox, the equinox, atomic equinox. That's a lie. Well, that's what Hanoch meant. You're a liar. Isn't it amazing that Yah is that ignorant? Terminology, he made every word. That he could not instill within Hanoch and the writings of Jubilees Moshe those things that were pertinent and valuable to his people. He doesn't need to mince, he doesn't have to mince his word. What he says it. And what he says, it is written. And we have added to that. Listen to the Hasidic doctrine. The Jewish leap year is known as the Shana Mi'ubrat. Shana Mi'ubrat. A pregnant year. Please show me someone. You're following something that you don't even know. A pregnant year, or perhaps more properly, an enlarged year, since it is temporarily enlarged, large than usual. So you make it an enlarged year, and so you come up with either 1 in either 2. In all of my rigid research, I've never found that. I find no implication through the historical knowledge of the Jews, and even they will even tell you so. It's not so, it is false. It is just a flat-out lie, nation. You don't have to believe it, but let's deal with the factual of things. Get your leaders. I'm here. I will debate any man on any topic. I have no fear of that, because I have no fear of being wrong. I have no problem with being corrected. But you're not going to correct me with some kind of philosophy of mysticism. You're not going to do that. Let's go on to the fourth principle, the secret. The various calculations that go into determining the length of the year are known as the Sadcha Ibru. Sad can be translated either secret or counsel. And that's how it was compiled by the secret councils of the darkness, of the Talmud, and the Jewish tradition. And those men that call themselves leaders of the Hebrew community, Hebrew Israelite, and they imparted their students with the same lies. You can't show me where there is a 13th month that Yah talks about. Not at all. Hallelujah. And I'm here to challenge anyone when it comes to those blatant lies that are being spewed. And you feel nice, like, so when people see our feast days, like, what's wrong with them? No, what's wrong with you, my friend? Our days are exactly right. Because we what? We create enthusiasm among our children that these are the things that they will look for when the time of the Moed or the days that they will keep the days according to the time of Yah time. It's amazing that Abraham out of Yaakov was a son, out of Yitzchak. There were 12 sons and 12 tribes. It was no different with Ishmael. There were 12 princes, and he made them a great nation. Let me read this quickly here in Jubilees. And as for Ishmael also have I heard you, and behold, I will bless him. I will bless him. I will bless him. I will bless him. All the seed of Abraham, they are blessed. He simply gave the directives to one nation of people out of the loins of Abraham, and that is YisraYah'ale, that Yah has prevailed, and he's going to win the battle. He did not say I would curse. He said he would bless Esau and also YisraYah'ale. He says, I will bless him and make him great and multiply him exceedingly. And he shall be got 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant, but my bridge, my promise to the seed of Abraham, that they will hold dear to their heart and guard it, that the nation of the sons of Ishmael may see the power of this great strength of Yah. And they will turn from their ways and be transformed like Yah intended. You don't kill your friends' children. You had no intention to destroy the sons of Ishmael. You don't do that. And Abraham was a friend of Yah. He said, I will make you a great nation, but my bridge will I establish with Yitzchak, who Sarah shall bear to you in these days, in the next year. Are there 12 sons of Jacob? There are 12 sons of Ishmael. And the zero of Abraham is spread everywhere. And we all must, I don't care what we are. It's amazing because it is with summer, it's winter in South Africa, Australia. So you tell me there is no seed of people, of the tribe of YisraYah in those countries? How foolish. Do we actually believe that all of that nation were captured and put in slave ships? That is so stupid. I don't even see how you can even comprise a teaching that is that ignorant. Because those people spread abroad, he scattered them. He scattered them down the Nile, the Euphrates, the Iran, in every direction. And they fell in fellowship with all kinds, like they always have done. The Ethiopians in Nigeria, even in Ghana, and every nation throughout that nation. There was nothing to impede them to walking up into Siberia. 12, you understand, nation? That's the truth of the matter. It's not based upon the lies of these men, the Hasidic, the Lubavitchis. It's not. Hallelujah. Abraham called his sons. He commanded them, this is in the writing of Jubilees. I want to go back to Chabad. In the writings of the Jubilees, it says in the 42nd Jubilee of the first year of the 7th week, look how precise Yah is. Precision of time. If he wanted a 13th month, he would have made implication that you don't have to figure it out. He called YishMa'el and his 12 sons, and Yitzchak and his 2 sons, and the 6 sons of Keturah, their sons, and he commanded them that they should observe the way of Yah, and they should work righteousness, love each his neighbor. Thou shalt love thy neighbor, commanded. So you tell me that the sons of Abraham, they were not nations, and the sons of Yitzchak, Esau, Jacob, yet he commanded them, you must love each other. That's what he commanded us, nation. That's what Abraham said. Eat your neighbor and act on this matter among all men, that they should each so walk with regard to them as to do just judgment and righteousness on the earth. And he commanded all of them to be circumcised. So that with Hebrew Israelites, that is one of the most prominent mandates. And so if one is an Ishmaelite, is he a Hebrew or what? Are these the same promises? Again I say, the covenant was with the son of Yitzchak, Jacob, that we may live a life that is so regarded that nations will be blessed to see a people that is so beautiful, so complex, but so beautiful. And that's a fact. You're not beautiful calling your own daughters such vile and reprehensible names. They're my friends. I'm talking to you, Hebrew Israelites. That is the worst thing for men of my hue. You're a foolish man. And your concept is foolish. And I don't fear telling you that, my friend. I can be found by any man. And that's just the truth. I don't hide myself. I'm here. The Torah talks about in Jubilees the 12 trees. I want to just show us something. It talks about the things of 12. Hallelujah. And that's what it implies. Rivika as Yam, give me sons for my son Yaakov, according to the months of the year. We'll get to that, but let me go back to Chabad. Their fifth principle is this. It was done by the central courts. Wow. Declared a leap year was a domain of the highest rabbinical court. Nation, come on, you leaders of the Yah's people. We're all ignorant. But this did not come from Yah, what you're doing. It was commanded by the order of Hillel and those that process what we call the Judaism mandate of the Talmud. And that's a fact. This is what it says here. And there is not a Jewish person that doesn't go, or Rabbi. And the ones I've contacted, they say to me, whether one is a liberal Jew, or the liberal universities, or the liberal congregation, or a staunch ultra-orthodoxy, I've written to them. I still get their emails. They all referred me to this site. I want to find out Well, I knew about the site before they referred to me. But I went on internet and I began to contact every rabbi, every teacher or leader, every kind of Jewish platform. I contacted them. I wrote emails. I didn't get many response, but those that responded said go to Chabad, this website. Declaring a leap year was the domain of the highest rabbinical court, the Sanhedrin. According to Rabbi Meir, it was concluded by the panel of 3 judges. This is where your 13th month comes from. My friend and you that sent me this bogus mess you sent me, I will not waste y'all's time on that. You don't know the name of any star. Only y'all knows them by name. He said the Sanhedrins, according to Rabbi Meir, it was conducted by a panel of 3 judges. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamaliel, however, taught that 3 stages would begin the conversion, 2 more would join the deliberation, and another 2 were added in the final declaration. This is a direct declaration declared by man. It was not a declaration by the mandate of Yah. There is nowhere, nation. There is nowhere that Yah commanded that. No 13 months at all. Even Abraham's father, he had gods according to each month of the year. He had 12 gods. He had 12 major gods. 12 sons of YisraYah'ale, 12 months. He did not have a 13th God. Rebekah's cry unto Yah for a son, give him sons according to the months of the year. This was introduced by a council of the Sanhedrins. These are the Sanhedrins, the Hasidic Jews. It is not the council of Yah. You cannot hold fast to those lies. You are the ones that will attest that you know everything, and you don't. I want to introduce the 6th stage. The 6th stage of this 13th month. It is amazing. It is the stages where the experts, astronomers, wow. The primary factor which overrode all others was the spring equinox. Show me, please. That's a lie. You can say what you want to. That Hanuk. One told me he may not have called it an equinox. That's stupid. You think that the word Yah is the composition of all words and languages. He confound the languages. You think that something that is valuable, important to Yah, he will make it difficult to understand. He tells us, remember the 7th day. And there you that say it is the moon, we determine that by the moon and all that. Boy, that's a task, isn't it? It's just a flat out lie. And you plan it out years in advance. Because you take the word or the works of someone and you know when the moon or the sighting of the moon is going to be. And you figure it out that way. No, it's not that way. Even our body works in the same precision that Yah commanded it. It's a fact. It works in that. The rest, that wonderful rest, Shabbat that we have. These are the factors the experts of astronomy. These are the factors which overrode all of the others. Was the spring equinox. If it were a fall later than the first half of Nisan, i.e. the 16th or the latter, then the year was automatically declared a leap year. This is what many can say what they want to. This is come from one called Melton. It's called the Metonic cycle. I had one to debate me on that. I'm saying, man, that's how it's done. Even the Jews, the Orthodox, would tell you that. That's what it says. And the seventh principle was this. There were other factors too. The Sanhedrins also consider several non-season related factors. If the roads or the bridges were in despair due to the winter rainy season, for example, that it would impede the ability of the pilgrims to travel to Jerusalem for Pesach, declaring a leap year would give crews time to get everything in order. What a damnable wicked shame. I'm not reading from some kind of composition I have compiled. This is from the authorities of what we call the Jewish tradition. These are their leaders that conspire to, and their composition from the 1700s and all. And that's just the fact of the matter. These are the things. So they will take the conditions. So if it's raining us, or if there is a tornado or something that will distract us from having the moed, then we can change that. We can add a month. It's a lie. It's a lie. Well, they're not keeping it right. How do you keep it right? This is the stupidity of this generation. You got to have some lamb's meat, not lamb now, but lamb's meat. How do you tell a mother she has to buy lamb who is poor with her children, striving to please Yah? You don't have to. We eat the meats of Yah's Torah. We eat the words. There is no function when it comes to the Pesach. We got to sing this and dance like this or dress like that. It's a lie. It's a lie from the gutters of hell. No different than their Christianity theses and lies. That's a lie, my friends. There are those that have nothing. So you tell them they got to have lamb for the Pesach. It's so stupid and silly. Well, on my bread and all of that, what do I do? That's how stupid this generation is. You're listening to Dawid YisraYah. This is Riyadh Dawid. My Isha made me some ginger lemon tea. It helps my stretchy throat. And she makes it from stretch. And it tastes so wonderful and pleasant. Can I move a little farther, nation? I will, whether we like it or not. You want to call in area code 843-658-6222. And you got something you want to reveal or show me? As long as it's truth, you can show me, you can't show me out of the Torah of the writings of Almighty Yah. I don't mind listening, but it has to come from the book and no other place. Let's listen to one of the other factors concerning the 13th month. This is the 8th one. It is now fixed to happen 7 out of 19 years. Listen to me, my friends. Do a research on the Metonic, M-E-N-T-O-N-I-C, Metonic cycle. And see the astronomer, he was an astrophysics in that day. He was Milton, a Meton of Greece. And this is where those of the Hasidic movement and the Jewish tradition, they got it from that. I had one that wanted to debate me. How is it that it is precise with the order of Metanich of the cycle, as he studied the stars and the heavens for 19 years? There was a greater visibility of the heavens then than it is today with all of this pollution. When I moved to this land going on nearly 26 years ago, we would sit out and look in the heavens and see the brightness of the multitude of stars. Now we can hardly see a star. And that is just factual. But let's read this anyway. Let's go with this. The 8th principle. Now, it is now fixed to happen 7 out of 19 years. In the 4th century CE, before the Common Era, the sage Heliel II foresaw the Siddur court would soon crumble, and ad hoc declared the leap year would no longer be viable. He, in his rabbinical courts, established the perpetual calendar, which we follow today, with 19-year cycle, each cycle comprise of 7 leap years. Show me. These men are cowards. Show me a 7-year leap proceeding that Yah ordained in Torah. Please show me 7 years. And this is how it operates. This is how it operates. This is the criteria here in Principle 9. This is on Chabad, on this website. This is what they say. They have 13 principles now. I'm going to do this tonight. Number 9, it can be, this is a year and the Jewish construct. And yours too, because you go by the same construct. There was 385 days from your last Pesach to the one you just kept. And your leaders did not orchestrate that. They did not seek the counsel of Torah. And you're ignorant, you don't know, you're unlearned, and you think you know everything, and you don't know, my friends. This is what it declares. It can be 385, 384, or 380 days, 3 days long. You, my friend, let's say you keep up with the Chanukah calendar of 364. You are a flat-out liar. I had one to write me one day after service and say, I can see from your year, 353 was the time of your last feast day to mine. Well, if you check all of them, they all will be that. He didn't write me back what I showed him. This is a coward, immature generation. You're not going to pour that on me. I've been around longer than you are old, and that's just a fact. That's a fact. Can I say this before I proceed? When I was working at IBM, IBM was declaring itself as the leader of the robotic systems that we see implemented today. So they brought in all of these young engineers, the J. Millingtons of the world, the Jewish young man. I like Jay. We would have some debatable debates. And all my education means nothing. I say it does, my friend. So I'm not going to disqualify your education, your experience, your time, the energy that it took. It took a discipline. But you don't run anything over me. Jay was, he had his understudies from Princeton. It is grad studies from Carnegie Mellon. They were from the St. Louis universities. All of the prime universities of America, they were. And even from the North Carolina A&D, Mike, very beautiful man of the dark chocolate, rich color, very bright, brilliant young man. And I remember this engineer, because I was a part of the process, that they brought a certain amount of people to be a part of that project. It was supposed to be the envy of the world. And they were going to come, they had it set up on that day. They would have every major newspaper in the world there. It never worked. I'll never forget this engineer. He had been in the engineering for IBM, one of their places in IBM in Florida. I can't recall which one. And he looked at me one day. Why would these men talk to me like that? And he looked at me one day and he said, you know what, my friend? Trust me. Believe me. It will never work. They will never get it up. And it will never work. Can I tell you the end of the story? It never worked. Because he knew the numbers, the order of the engineering process. He was an engineer. They was all new, inspired young men and women from the most powerful universities in America. But it did not work. It did not work at all. And so how do you think that you have the expertise of truth? Well, I've been in this way for 2 years, 3 years. You haven't even been in the truth 2 or 3 years. Because there's one thing that when one walks in truth, it's revealed in them. And you don't say the kinds of things you say, especially to the women that look like my mother. You call them, you Hebrew Israelites, every kind of dog there is. She's the problem with the men? No, it's you, my friend, and you're the ones that put 4 or 5 babies in them too. And think you've done something because you purchased Pampers for the youngest. How immature. Let me go on. Now that's how long a Jewish year can be. It can be 385, 383, 384. Or it can be 353, 354, and 355. So the leap years, every 2 years, there's a leap year. And your system is the same, my friend. You don't even have the honor of Yah that you want to do right. He did not tell you that Pesach would be in the spring. He told you the first month and its name. And that's what the first month means. Period. The longest possible year is 385. At times, however, a leap year can reach 383 days. It is because of the month of Sheshvan and Kislev can each either be 29 or 30 days. Now let's go a little farther. I will have a sip of my ginger lemon tea. Contrast can be complicated. If a rental contract specified a price per year, this is the logic, how illogic this is with the logic of Yah. And then the leap year was declared, the 13th month was included. My. You don't see the stupidity of what you're following. Was included in the contract, specifically price per month. However, the 13th month must be paid for separately. In the event of the contract listed, both 100 per month, 1,200 per year, for an example, the rental or the renter is at a disadvantage and must pay for the 13th month. This was the logic of those because they wanted to support a line. Because abib implies the greening of the ear, of the corn. I do apologize of the wheat and the barley. That's what it implies. And so when they go out and do not find what they call the barley, it's amazing when they find it and when they can't find it. It's always the every other year. 353, 354, then you will get 383 days in that the third year. They don't seem to find that in that slither of land they call YisraYah'ale. They don't ever find it. I have been around longer than a day, all right? They never find that barley. And so that's when they add the 13th month. I'll get out of here if you don't know that. And that's just a fact. And the 11th principle of their construct, the added month is Adar 1. How does a 12-month calendar suddenly become 13 months long? The last month of the year Adar becomes Adar 1 and Adar 2. It is questionable whether Adar is considered the Adar. All agree, however, that Purim, held annually on Adar 14th and 15th, is celebrated in Adar 2, so that it is just a short month away from Pesach. Isn't that amazing? How there is no implication. Someone give me a call, area code 843-658-6222. I want to read this. The Yah, he always give us implications of time. This is in the book of the writings of Yosha, Jasper. It says, and Terah had 12 gods of large size, made of wood and stones after the 12 months of the year. After the 12 months of the year. After the 12 months of the year. So you tell me within the scope and the span of Terah's lifetime, there was not a 13th month added? According to the months of the year, and he served each one monthly. And every month Terah would bring his meat offering and drink offerings to his gods. And Terah did all the days. So you tell me in Terah's life that there was no implication where there was a month added? We are sick, juvenile people. We rather believe lies over truth. And we're stubborn. We don't want to change because it cramps our style. And we don't want to change anything at all, period. What are the 12 principles of this Lubavitchi order? It was stated that 60 days of joy. Our sage say, not what Yah says now. When Adar enters, we increase in joy. Increase in the joy every day. An addition of Adar means that there is so much joy and something worth celebrating. Well, I tell you, my friend, I'm blessed with 300 days, every day of joy. Even in my pains and my agony, there's a joy of the expectation of Almighty Yah. And this is the 13 principles. And I want to deal with that 12th month. And see where can we find a 13th month. Someone go and Google or type in 13th month. And see how many calendars in how many nations and countries and traditions that utilize 13th month. Even the Babylonians use a 13th month calendar. This is what they got this. Even those leaders, the Heliel, and all of them, these are liars. And I'm not afraid to say that. And they got you under a cloak of pure darkness. You're not going to hear truth. It makes no difference what the Torah says. It says we have tons more for you to read about the Jewish leap year. That was all just a taste. Want to learn more about the leap year? It is significant and applicable. The application, here's some articles on that. I'm going to click on this one. These are some stupid articles. When to celebrate my birthday on a leap year. This is so stupid. This is what their leaders. Let me click this one on. Concerning the equinox related to. I want to read this to Pesach. It says the Jewish calendar normally consists of 12 lunar months. Well, how do you go from a lunar month to a solar lunar month on the celebration of the Moedim of Yah? The word solar is not in Torah. The word lunar solar is not there. So the Jewish calendar normally consists of 12 lunar months. A lunar month from the moment when the crescent new moon appeared until it disappeared once again. It's roughly 29.5 days. 12 lunar months come to 354 days. 11 days less than the solar year. Therefore, if you were to maintain a strictly 12-month lunar calendar, it has to do what Yah tells you and commanded you. The first month, second month. And I have taught on that every month there is 12. It is referenced in Torah. The Hodash, the sighting of the moon. It's there. Yah commanded us the order of his Moed. It begins with Pesach. He tells us when. The first month. The first month. You say you got the first day right, the second and the seventh. It is nothing but a fabrication of total, brutal lies and corruption. It's evil, it's sadistic. And you say to Yah, damn you. This is our order. And you don't care how wrong you are. Listen to this. It says, this will result in holidays which will constantly be fluctuating when Yah intended for the fluctuate. They're beginning their winter. They enter that winter in South Africa, Australia, 62 countries. You tell me, in the southern hemisphere. Oh, this is for the northern hemisphere. This is for those that declare that they are Jews and Hebrew Israelites. That is stupid. Yah intend for it to fluctuate. He intend for it. Not to go around in a circle, but to go back in the circle. And it will always come back to that time and that season. Listen to this. 11 days short, it says, this would result in holidays which would constantly be fluctuating in relationship to the season. Where does Yah talk about season when it comes to the Moedim? He tells you the calendar based upon the months, the sighting of the crescent, which are dedicated by solar cycles. We would have summer, Chanukah, and snowy YHWH. That's all right. That's the way it should be. There are those that have snowy ones either way. It's not based upon this hemisphere. It's based upon his word. Listen to this, nation. Next time I come back, I want to continue in this. As you prepare for your lives that you call the Moedim of Yah. Therefore, the Torah commands us, guard the month of spring. Where in the world? Let me see if I can find that. Guard the month of spring. Guards? I'm going to find that. I'm going to see if that's a lie. I see guard month. Let me see spring. SBRING. It can't be found in Torah, not in that composition. I have an old program I've had for a long time, and it worked. You can't even find it. And this is an old PC here. Where does it say? It says, any place that implicate any guard, the 5th month, the 7th day of the month, which he talks about the captain of the guard there. Jeremiah talks about the month, the 10th day, the month, the captain of the guard there. You see how one can lie like this, and we will buy it. This is what it says, quote. This is what it says, quote. Therefore the Torah commands us. That's an evil, wicked lie. I don't care if it's coming from a Jew's mouth or Hebrew Israelite, a Christian's mouth or your mouth. It is a lie. He tells us to guard the month of the spring. That's not what he said. He tells us to be abreast and aware of Abib. That's what he says, which implies what it means, but that doesn't imply that we guard for that month. We guard for the first month. We watch with observation for the first month. For the first month. And the first month doesn't change. No more than the system of numerics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Therefore the Torah commands us. Wow. How does one lie like that, knowing that it's not in there? But they know someone ignorant as I am will go on that same process of this foolish information. Guard the month of the spring and make then the Passover offering is, listen to this now, listen. This is a directive to the Sanhedrin, rabbinical Supreme Court, to constantly listen. They must constantly adjust the calendar to ensure that Nisan, the month of the holiday of Passover, always falls during the spring of the year. That's what it's all about. This has nothing to do with truth. Has nothing to do with a love of Yah. Nothing at all. This is from the Supreme Sanhedrin Rabbinical Council. And you Hebrew Israelites, you following the same council. Well, of course, all of the Sanhedrins look like you. And so these are those that have lied to you. This is accomplished through the 13th month. If that's the case, then the council, Torah would tell me of a 13th month, but it doesn't. It is accomplished through the 13th month, leap year, which were added to the calendar approximately once every 3 years during the years. A second month of Adar was added to the calendar. While the Sanhedrins presided over Yerushalayim, there was no set calendar. They would evaluate every year to determine whether it should declare a leap year. Wow. This is Chabad. There's a plethora of material on the site, and that is a tremendous amount. And so when I want to understand anything about the Jewish counsel that I receive, reflected in every kind of religious order, Christian, Hebrew Israelite, white Hebrew Israelites, and all of them, even with their tone, it is based upon this, on the Sanhedrin Council of the Hasidic. And that's a fact. He made it so easy that even one that is on his own, he would understand and know, and he would keep time. So I didn't know, I know one case where Yah made provision where the people were not ready to celebrate the Passover. And so there are those that say, well, you can have a second Pesach. The priests were not ready. The people were wicked. And those that were coming, they were not right. They had not learned of these things. And they had forgotten because of their own sin. Is there anyone listening tonight? Give me a call, someone. Comment on this. We're going to continue in this path on the next time I'm here. Give me a call. Area code 843-658-6222. Give me a call. This is amazing here in the sense of the violent, blatant disregard to what Torah says. It is. It says here, however, it wasn't enough for Passover to fall after the equinox when it was officially spring-like condition. How could it be spring-like conditions? Mine. Needed to be evidence. It is the land of Israel. The barley had to be ripened. That's not what it means. And the trees were not blossoming, and the season of fruit, that too, was sufficiently reason to delay Nisan by adding a second month of Adar. Spring should be felt. It should be bright and green. Isn't that amazing? What a wicked concept of defying Yah's word. In the 4th century BCE, the sage Hillel II foresaw the disbandment of the Sanhedrin and understood that he would no longer be able to follow the Sanhedrin based on calendar. So Hillel, the rabbinical court, established the perpetual calendar, which followed today. The calendar is comprised of 19 cycles, each year containing 7 leap years, and the calendar remain effective until Mashiach will come and establish the Sanhedrin. My. He's going to come and establish the Sanhedrin. Not his truth now, but he's going to establish them. And so Hillel, you need to do a little research on him. I study these things to a tremendous degree. Do I retain everything? No, I don't, because I don't find it to be very valuable, but it's important to understand this construct based upon lies and some of the most raw corruption that one could ever conceive. You observe the moon. You teach your children, make it a fun night. Our children love it. We get out. If we don't see it, if it's clouded, what is it supposed to be? And there is a calendar that I've been using for a long, long time, and it seems to be precise. And also on my cellular phone, I have the moon phase. This one, it is raw, as they would say. And we come out and we watch, and if we don't see it that night because of overcast or cloudiness, we come back and we will know. I can look at it until when it's 1% or 4/8, because all these years it has taught me that. And so you get your children and bake some cookies or something and bring out and have a fun night. As our children sing moon nights, moon nights, that they delight in it. We were standing here on the last watch of the moon of this month. We didn't see it the first night. And so the daughters of Zion was out there on that night, and they were watching. And Zachenia, Ramiah's oldest daughter, she runs and say, "Papi, it's there." Well, of course, there's sometimes it's difficult to see. And everybody's trying to direct others. Look there, it's underneath the radio wire. It's to the right, look above the wire. There's not been a time that I have not found it. And the more persistent, the more eager you are to find it. And when you find it, it is a great delight. As we found it last month, and the Achim, we sat in the plaza, and we talked, and we rejoiced. And our children rejoice in that. These liars, you can't even hardly see anything in those cities. You don't even see a star. You probably don't even see the moon. And that's a fact. So polluted the heavens, you can't even see anything. And that's just the truth. Can we get one call tonight? Area code 843-658-6222. It's not a concern of mine if you disagree with Yah's Torah. It makes no difference at all with me, but it is the truth. We're going to continue in this same process the next time I'm here and to discuss the Moedim and this 13th month. You scholars out there, someone give this to your friend that's a scholar. Call me and show me the implication of your lies whereby it is predicated upon truth out of the Torah. I can show what I'm talking about because I see it. It's written. It's not my opinion. It's what the truth says. And that's a fact. Has nothing to do with my feeling. Let me find the scripture. Hallelujah. Someone give me a call. Here we go, 843-658-6222. Give me a call, someone, while I try to find. Let me find this. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And I want to show you these men on the next time. Nehemiah Gordon and all of these fools that really brought this into a tremendous, gave it identity, and you buy from those men their lies. Is anyone listening? Area code 843-658-6222. Give me a call here. Hallelujah. I want to hear from someone tonight. Give me a call. You don't have to be afraid or intimidated. Hallelujah. We're looking forward to the Moedim of Yan and the blessings and the great times and the festivity and the food. We're looking forward to that. I am. I always look forward to the feast days, a time I can simply sit down and rest. I'm getting older every day. And I said to Zachinya, Ramia, our leader here, I'm simply leading for the moment. And there were times that I could preach every day. I can't do it now. And that's just a fact. And I was as fit as any man could be. I was fit. Supremely fit. Very strong and powerful. But it's one thing I do know and knew then. Life has its conclusion. And that we all shall go through the corridor of death. Factual and truthful. Can I get one call before 9? Area code 843-658-6222. One call. Someone give me a call. And I will go home and rest. Enjoy the blessings of Yah. I've enjoyed tonight just sitting here. And Zachin, Ramaya will be teaching, preaching, exuding and exhorting the word tomorrow. The newsletter I saw, it has gone out. The teaching, I can't recall something, and that's the honest truth, something in the conjunction or connection with the will of the times of the season, whatever. Well, we will all hear tomorrow. I will be here. Can I get one call? Area code 843-658-6222. You don't have to be afraid. pick that cell phone up and give a call, all right? That we may enjoy the riches of Yah and his beauty, that he bring us all together for these wonderful occasions. Hallelujah. And so there is no call. I will say to you all, YisraYah'ale, we're going to say Shabbat Shalom. May the riches of Yah rest upon you all, and that we walk in the Dabarim, the promises of our Abban Yahshua's mighty name. Shabbat Shalom, nation. Shabbat Shalom. Hallelujah.
Dressed in garments white and wrinkle-free, I have no earthly love that I am holding to, for you're the one who means everything to me. Not one thing you said that you haven't done. And someday when I see you standing face to face, my praise for you will have only just begun. I will bow myself down humbly at Yah's throne, and I will give anything. I will give everything to the Abba.